Hello, everybody. This is Books, bookish operation of obtaining knowledge and spoilers. With you, there's your hosts, Sarah and Dee. And today we are
Hi,
having a
everybody.
fantastic book. What are you saying, fantastic? Well, it belongs to the fantasy series called Poison Study, written by Maria V. Snyder. And oh boy, this book is wonderful. And let's just say it's a spoiler because this is a good review.
It is a very good review, and this is a very good book. And there's more of them. Surprise! So it's a whole series, and they're so good.
Absolutely.
So
We're gonna start from talking about chapter one is when Yelena, our main character, wakes up in a dungeon. And you must say like, hey, what is the problem, dungeon? Oh, duh. Well, would you like to be covered in rat poop, different body fluids, and just basically be miserable? Because I don't think I would want it. I'm sure Dee neither.
definitely not a stay at the Hilton.
Oh,
I
absolutely not.
guarantee I wouldn't want to go there.
Absolutely not. Sign me out. This girl? No.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
and they don't feed you all that well, if at all. So, and at this point, poor Elena had already been in for a year, right? I think it says a year.
Yeah, I think it was mentioned it was a few seasons because their season was in a book. It was explained that it's like a fire season uh, and no, it was a hot season and cold season. And it was mentioned that she was there already for like a few seasons. Um, so it's been a year basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
and
We started at the same
I
time.
don't know. A year in the dungeon is way too long for me. Okay. A day in a dungeon would be way too long for me. So
Yeah,
I feel for Elena.
yeah, especially if you don't have
I
your
do.
friend to bail you out. So yeah, that sucks. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You may ask
Would
why,
you bail
Yelena.
me out of a dungeon?
And I'll be right there with you. Let's be honest.
True. So we'd both be screwed. Got it. All right.
Absolutely. um, you may ask why Yelena is in the dungeon. Well, because she committed a crime, and you may ask like, what? Hey, oh, well, what is the crime? Well, she killed somebody.
Murder. Or
And that's
was it?
some that somebody was no other than a son of a general. Because in this series, okay, you have a, let's say, a kingdom of Ixia, which is separated on a different military district. And then you have other kingdom called Scythia, which people are separated on clans and they live free. Let's be honest. There is not much of a um it's being guided by a council and master magicians, and it's complete opposite of what you have in Ixia, which is where the action of the poison study is happening. So what happens is Yelena gets dragged out of the dungeon, and she's getting dumped onto the floor for it's like an office for commander's right hand and assassin at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. And his name is
Yeah.
Valek. And oh boy, give me some Valek because every girl wants Valek. Let's be honest.
Everybody needs a Valak in their life. I assure you. Okay. But the reason she's been brought here is because every prisoner stops by to see Valak before they go to the noose. And so that's where she was at. She thought she was about to go to the noose. But
Yes, but there is also one thing that we have to mention. Uh,
Hmm.
Commander created something called Codex of Behavior. And every prisoner that is next in line to be hanged is being offered a job of a food tester for the commander. And you might ask why commander needs, a tester, right? Well, because commander is a little bit paranoid that somebody may poison him. And rightfully so, in some ways, if you think about it, rightfully so, because Scythia is absolutely terrified of Commander, because they think he's gonna invade them. Which is not the case, to be honest, because Commander is actually a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, I like Commander Ambrose. He's really awesome. Um, what I was going to say? Ah, please
Alright,
continue.
we lost her train, so I'm just gonna hop in and skip it up there and go with my choo choo.
Sorry.
Um, so Yelena is over there in front of Valek, and he offers her a job, and she would be
Oh,
stupid
wait.
if she didn't take it, right? Because
I,
what is
I
better
found my
being a
train.
uh, hold on a second with your train, D. Leave it at
My
the next
train
station,
came back.
please. leave, it,
I'm
leave it
so
at the next
sorry, you
station.
guys.
So
Uh,
Yelena would be
okay.
stupid, okay, if she didn't take the job, because let's be honest, what it's like, at least she's gonna be alive and working for the commander, testing his food. Or the other option is, hey, well, welcome to the dead. Of course, she's gonna take the job. Any other
Of
normal
course.
person would take it, to be honest.
Yes. Okay. So my train was, you had mentioned that it was offered to every prisoner. And that is true, but only when the previous poison tester has died. And so I think her case was the very first case of the day after the previous one had died, which is very, very lucky for Elena. I am
I rep-
sorry that my train went away, but it's back, and now we can go elsewhere.
choo choo. Okay, let's go. Uh, RP Oscar, by the way, because that was the last food tester, by the way. You just find out a little
Yeah,
bit about him in the book, but it's just mostly mentions, and that is all. Nothing else.
yeah.
So
His name does come up a few times, though.
yeah, but it's mostly mentions of here and there, things, and that's all, and it's fine.
Yeah,
So what
but
happens
it's nice though
is,
to have it
yeah,
because most people they kill off somebody and they're never mentioned again. But this one, yeah, they're actually mentioned throughout the book, and it makes you feel like the characters have actual lives instead of the only thing that's on this page right now. So I just had to add that in. Sorry.
oh yeah, no, you're fine, absolutely, I agree on that part. So what happens is that Valak summons Marg, which, well, we hate Marg in this household, by the way, and you will find out why
Oh,
in a
and this one
second.
too.
Oh yeah, we
This
we we
one
hate
too.
Marg in this household, but you will find out about. Give us a moment to get there. So Yelena gets her um, food tester uniform. She gets to take a bath, which she looks at herself in a mirror and she sees basically a skeleton. Because she's starved. She doesn't have much muscles because what she was supposed to be doing in a dungeon, right, for a year. So she looks miserable. And
Yeah.
I believe that was the next day, she gets back to the Valek office, and that's where Valek gives her some food, and he's asking like her about some flavors and stuff like that, and that's when she finds out that she was poisoned with something called butterfly dust.
Hmm.
Of course, she knows.
Butterflies dust. Valek's way to keep the food tester from running away.
In a long story
Very
short,
smart way.
it is smart, but uh, basically, Yelena is like, "Oh, why would you poison me? and all that stuff. So Valak tells her, "Yo, Elena, look, you just admitted that you killed this person. I would be stupid to let you go freely around the castle, taste the food for the commander and stuff like that, without having something to sort of keep you on a leash. Let's say like that, right? So every morning, she has to come up to his office for a dose of antidote that it will keep her alive. If she doesn't show up
Yes.
for that antidote, she has only 2 days. So, you know, do
And
your
it is
math.
a very, very painful death.
Absolutely.
Very excruciating. Hmm. But also so smart on Valak's behalf. Like, I'm sorry. I just love Valak.
Yeah,
He's such an awesome character in this.
he is.
He does come across as cold at first, but you'll understand why. And I'm sure everyone will love him just as much as we do, you know.
We love Valak in this household. Let's be honest. It's one of the best characters in this book. To be fair.
My favorites.
So Yelena starts her
It,
training. She does her training. She is testing the food. Valak, tells her, okay, you gotta pinch your nose to block your scent, so you can taste different, the underneath tones and stuff like that. You have to gargle, roll your tongue, and the other things. And
mm-hmm.
that's basically how her training is going for the last few days. And then something happens. She tastes this rotten oranges in the food. What it shows up is that Valak poisoned the food with a dose of something called my love. And he did that in purpose. He said to her that he's not going to be wasting her time training her further and all the other things if she doesn't survive that. Because if the small dose is going to kill her, then it's kind of pointless, because he will have to train another, food tester. If something happens to her
Mm-hmm.
trying Commander's food. Plus, she needs to know about this specific poison because it's very common for Scythia country, right? Kingdom country, whatever you call it. It's very prominent, for that specific area. So hence, Valak needs to know um, what type of poison was in the food because if you're tasting, the food and you feel that rotten oranges and stuff like that, all it needs from Yelena is just, for example, yell "my love," and then Valek will be able to identify basically or narrow down the list of the suspects in the room or whoever had access to Commander's food, which is smart if you think about it. So what happens after she gets poisoned by Valek? Mark takes her to her room, and oh boy,
Yeah, she doesn't help. Also, I think it was sour apples instead of orange. I think orange is butterfly dust, but the sour apples I think is the uh this other one, I believe.
my love could be
Yes.
because both of them they had a very specific description. So it could be that. Yeah, you may be right. I'm not entirely sure in that point, but to be fair, it doesn't matter that much because
No, it really doesn't. I just
regardless, it's a
it
poison.
just yes, yes it is. But after it takes like effect immediately. Like she only has time to like squeak out two words before like she's on the floor. Okay. But Marg is supposed to be in charge of her and takes her back and dumps her in the floor of her room and leaves her for 2 days.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's it.
it's 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 worth to mention that she leaves her there, and Yelena basically it's suffocating herself in her own vomit, sweat, and I believe she also peed on herself at that point because, 2 days just basically laying down in the floor, hallucinating and all that, just did its job, right? So after Yelena survives that, she of course goes, to
Hmm.
like a bath area. She cleans herself, and then she goes to the kitchen when she meets Commander's cook, Randy.
Oh, Rand. Yeah.
Rand or Randy?
Rand. Yeah, it's just Rand. He's an interesting character. The whole time that he was in there, I didn't know if I should like him or not. And then I did like him, and then I really it kind of back and forth
I have
because
mixed
you
feelings
kind
with
of
him.
yeah, you kind of like go back and forth with Yelena about whether to trust him or not anyways because she doesn't trust a lot of people, but she wants to. You know, she wants to have friends. She was an orphan before this. And um you the book does a really good job making you kind of like go back and forth with, oh, should we trust him? Should we not? So I had to point that out. I love that the author was able to pull that off as well as they did. It was so good.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely. I agree here on that part. Because the book is from first person perspective. You look at it from Yelena, and you don't get any other chapters from any other person point of view. So
mhm.
everything that you see, you feel as Yelena, and I feel like this book absolutely benefits from first person point of view.
Yeah, it a lot of first person is really hard to first person is hard to pull off for a lot of people, but this author does it so well. And this book really does benefit from being in first person. It's really good. So I agree that the first person was such a good choice for this book.
Absolutely, I
Uh,
agree on that part. So we're going back to the kitchen. um, what happens is that Yelena is looking for some food, and she meets Rand, who tells her that she just win him some money on gambling because he was betting that she'll survive the dose of my love, while other servants, including Morg, they were betting that she's gonna die.
I think most of them bet that she was going to die, honestly. Uh, from the sounds of it, anyways, I'm pretty sure most of them did. And it makes you feel like they probably had that betting pool on all of the new tasters.
Oh, most likely,
So that's probably been going on for a while.
yeah, probably. Like, I mean, to be honest, what else are they supposed to do? Like, that's I would say, like,
I
in
mean,
medieval times you have gossips and stuff like that. Here they had also betting pools because why the hell not?
right.
Which is
Yeah.
actually funny if you
I
think about
mean,
it.
yeah. I mean, it kind of is.
So Rand cooks for her, I think, like a sweet cakes or something like that, and they just chat a little bit. She, of course, is not trusting much because why would she trust? Everybody usually were just treating her like, you know, nothing,
Yeah,
nobody.
I'm pretty sure she even like tasted the things that he made for her right in front of him too, and he
Yes,
was
yes,
like,
she was
"What?"
looking for poisons, and he got a little bit offended about it.
To be fair, if it was my job to taste for poisons, I would probably just make it a habit to taste for it in everything
Absolutely, yeah,
because
that would
that
be the
way,
smartest
then I
the
wouldn't
smartest
have to
way.
forget. Yeah, yeah, you wouldn't forget, and it would just become habit. So there you go.
Yeah, and Rand actually joked about it down the road that probably it's healthy for Yelena to do that because Valek likes to test his own food poisoners, testers for the poisons to make sure they are not getting lazy.
Hmm. This is true. And he does test the tasters multiple times in different ways, which, is smart on his part and infuriating for poor Helena.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's actually about to throw a fit at him in so many times, which is
Oh,
hilarious
yeah.
actually. She can be snarky to him, and it kind of looks like Valek is enjoying that, although sometimes he's getting annoyed by it. We have to also talk about it that
Oh,
General Brazel is still in the commander's castle. I think for like 2 more weeks at this point, and his men are chasing Yelena. She gets cornered in a storage room, and a weird buzzing sound uh, saves her. She dashes out, and oh boy, Valek shows up, saves the day. Of course,
yeah. We
of
also
course,
find out
yeah.
that this has happened to her before. Um, so she didn't know what it was, but it has happened to her before. The buzzing sound. So that's just important to note. Yeah, please continue.
You're good, you're good, T. Um, so yeah, Valak saves the day. The soldiers are not happy about it, of course. And since Yelena is at this point officially in a training as to being a food tester for the commander, Valak saves her, and he actually uses quite dirty moves against the soldiers. To put them down because he was already late to taste Commander's meal. And he drags Elena with him so she can meet also Commander. And oh boy, General Brazel is sitting there. And he throws a fit that she should be dead and all that stuff, which Commander shuts him down by just giving him the permission for the factory he wanted open in his own district. I believe that was MD5.
I think it was. But yeah, so Brazel pitches that huge fit, but he gets something at least.
Yeah, so basically,
Even
what
if
what
Yelena's
Commander
not gonna die.
yeah, what basically Commander Ambrose is doing is he's just basically, all right, shut up. Here is the permit. Just go. Leave me alone. Uh, just basically to have him stop barking in his room. Let's say like that. Commander, of course, is being annoyed while Valak is late, so he asks, Valak, hey, what is the delay? I hate eating my, food cold. And Valak says that, well, there was some situation that he had to take care of. And then the Commander Ambrose is instantly, how many dead? And that was the moment that cracked me absolutely here. Because
None
Valak
of
just
them
said
were dead.
they weren't dead. He just used the sleeping darts on them. But it was
Yeah,
just hilarious how the commander assumed instantly the Valak had to kill somebody.
yeah. I died laughing. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
was laughing.
okay, yeah.
I think it was like first 10 chapters. And I was already laughing hard in few moments.
Oh yeah.
It was hilarious, guys. It was just the entire conversation between Commander and D. Do you have it on because I don't have a book next to me? Do you have that moment somewhere?
Let's see. So the moment I believe is in chapter 6.
Try to find it while I am yapping, so we don't kind of create here a long silence. um,
Yeah. Let me
so
see.
I'm gonna talk a little bit about Valak here in this moment. Valak is basically a right hand of a commander. He is um one of the most feared famous and infamous person at the same time in the entire Ixia. And you might ask why? Well, because apparently Valak is immune to magic. And he also can feel if there's a magician in the room. So you can already imagine, uh, it, uh, the hearts pumping, all that stuff, whenever they think about Valak, especially if you have magic. Because, oh boy, magic is banned in Ixia. Commander is absolutely against magicians, and basically people are getting killed on side if anybody has a magic. And you might ask
Yes.
why. Well, what happened is that Commander created an uprising revolt against the old king, who was a magician, because Commander was tired of magicians just basically gaining the power, luxury, and all the stuff because they could use magic. And there were people like Commander who were poor and they didn't have an education. They were suffering. Um, they had nothing. Nobody cared about them.
Yeah. Which is another reason that I absolutely adore Commander Ambrose.
So to men,
Also, I found the
give
spot.
me a second, Andy. So what to explain also? How is Commander
No, I
working?
know. I was just telling you I found it.
Uh, Commander
Real quick.
created these military districts that they are being guided by generals, and generals report to the commander. And the thing is, everybody in the district has a job. They get paid, everything is being provided for, like food, clothing, and all that stuff. Everything is being provided. There is no homeless people, nothing. Uh, but there is a cost of that because if you want to move from one district to another, you have to get a permission from the general or so the commander, even if you want to get married, etc., etc. So there is plus and minus, positives and negatives in the situation, but everybody is equal. And commander doesn't care about what type of, um, knowledge you have or something. If you are talented in one specific area and you're, for example, 13 years old, he's gonna assign you to a job under somebody's wing that you can grow and be better in that. So he kind of pushes, commander pushes on the um educating people in a way they want to be educated. So for example, if somebody loves cooking, they're gonna be assigned to somebody in a district who is better cook and stuff like that to learn from them, but they are not gonna be you know uh, taught about like economics or something, let's say like this, right? Which kind of, it's a very interesting concept in my opinion. But I'm gonna right now let the read that moment between Valak and Commander Ambrose, because oh my god, that got me laughing.
Yeah, it was just really funny. Um, all right, so Commander Ambrose says, "Altercation, Valak?" He sighed like an indulgent parent. "How many dead?" "None. I couldn't justify the disposal of soldiers merely following General Brazel's orders to hunt down and kill our new food taster. Besides, they weren't very smart. Seems she was on the verge of giving them the slip when she ran into me. Good thing, though, or I might not have found out about the incident." And it's just so funny right there because one, it, Commander Ambrose is like the parent talking to a child,
Yes,
and two, it's meaningful because you can tell these two have been together for a long time, like have worked together for a long time.
absolutely, like their
So
relationship is very close and they kind of know each other pretty damn well. But also that situation points out Valak thinks about the General Brazil as an idiot. Two, he points out that Yelena is smart cookie.
oh yeah, yeah, and she really is too. Um, because if she wasn't, she wouldn't be able to keep up with all of the different poisons and everything. She was educated, and she was raised by Brazel because she was taken in by him. But
So to add on that
that
note,
doesn't
what Dee is
mean
saying,
everything.
uh, General Brazel created an orphanage, and a lot of generals were just kind of laughing at him. But he created an orphanage, and he was taking in kids and educating them. And Yelena was one of those kids.
Hmm.
That's why Brazel is kind of huffing and puffing here because he's the one who educated
It,
her, and Valak is just basically like, yeah, well, but you're an idiot regardless.
which is great because it's true. We don't like Brazel.
Absolutely not. He is just a jackass, and let's be honest about it. Moving forward with that, Yelena, of course, goes on her, you know, uh, schedule that she has. She starts tasting the food for the commander. She of course meets other person. There is a seamstress. I believe her name is Diana, and oh my god, she's a sweetheart. We love Diana in this household.
I thought it was Delana.
Dilana or Diana?
I think it was with an L. Let me check.
I'm not sure, but regardless, it's a seamstress. She doesn't show up that often in the book, but whenever she is on the scene with interacting with Elena, she's absolute sweetheart, and we love her for that in this household, of course.
Yes,
Um,
yes, we do.
so long story short, we are moving forward with everything, and um, General Brazel is still in the castle. He's gonna be there for a little bit longer. So instead of having guards protecting Yelena from Brazil man, because Valak of course is suspecting that Brazil is gonna, regardless commander's orders, he's gonna try to kill Yelena. So yeah, like Valak says, okay, Yelena, you're gonna be sleeping in the spare room that I have in my suit. Sweet. And Yelena is shocked because, oh my god, why should I be so close to Valak? It's a small room within that like two-story suite that he has. But everything is crammed with books and statues made out of a rock that has kind of like a silver lining between, which she's of course
Yeah, the
fascinated by then.
statues sound really pretty.
Yeah, she's absolutely fascinated by then. And what is the funniest part? Yelena realizes that being in that area where Valak lives in his suite, right? She has an access to a lot of books about poisons, books about the strategic tactics, uh, even I would say spycraft. What Yelena does?
Oh
Of
yeah.
course, of course, she's gonna to freaking read it like a smart cookie she is.
Hmm. I mean, I would be in heaven. That close to Valak and books? Whew,
Right?
you got me.
Yeah, you got me on books already. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I'm trying to figure out where we're actually at in the book.
I don't think there is anything happening between those sections, but I do know that right after that, she catches conversation between Valak and Commander, and they're talking about how one person previously escaped, and it slipped through the borders to Scythia, and they never found him. So Commander wants to make an exercise to have a prisoner just released, so his men can just chase him, and as a form of training. So Valak is looking for who can do that. And he comes up with an idea. Hey, Yelena, would you like to earn some money?
He did think about other people first, but then decided ultimately that Elena would be the perfect candidate. And Yelena was like, "Why me?"
Yeah, which was hilarious. That moment was hilarious because Valak suggested to Yelena. Yelena like almost dropped something tasting for the commander, and she was like, "Wait, what?" And commanders were like, "Are you kidding me?" Like he also, both of them were shocked at the same time, which was hilarious. But
It
it's
was.
nice to also mention that the threat of General Brazil man is also hanging somewhere there. So Yelena is not that convinced, if she should be doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, because I mean, I would also be concerned that, you know, there was a possibility that they would come after me knowing that I was outside of the castle. So, yes, that is a very huge concern.
Oh yeah, because of course the gravity works. Somebody can slip right and break a neck by accident. Happens. Um,
Hmm.
Gravity. So jokes on the side. Why you may ask? Okay, why Yelena wants to earn some money? Well, because a fire festival is coming in, and fire festival is very important for her. It's one of those festivals she was looking forward every year while she was, in that orphanage, Brazil's orphanage. And as a food tester, she doesn't get paid. And you may ask why. Well, Valek explains to her that it's not having a second chance for to live not enough as a payment, of course, Which in some way, yeah, he's right here if you think about it.
This is true. This is true. But I also like that Valak came up with the idea that yes, she can't get paid for the food testing, but if she does any extra work, she can be paid for. And that made me so happy.
Yeah, because normally food tester doesn't get any food, like food, not food. Oh my god, paid, paid,
No, they get plenty of food. I
paid.
assure
Sorry,
you.
guys, paid. So Valak suggested to the commander, "Hey, okay, she's a food tester, but what if extra tasks that she performs, she's gonna get paid for it because they're extra?" Commander agreed for it, which is great because now Yelena has an occasion to earn money, and she wanted them because of the fire festival incoming. So Yelena has, I think, a week or 2 weeks, something like that, to prepare herself for that exercise.
Hmm.
And what happens during the time that she's preparing herself? She snoops a little bit around Valek's office and finds a list with her name circled on that list. And the next day, Valek is furious. It looks like he's about to kill her. Basically, he's that furious, and he asks her if she's that stupid to go around and talk to other, servants and stuff like that, because now they're putting bets on her if she's gonna get caught within a few hours or she's gonna survive through the night and stuff like that. Which
Yes. And
Yelena tells
sorry.
him that she didn't say anything to him, to anybody, because she values her life, knowing that Brazil soldiers, they're still out there waiting for her. But Yelena suspects one person who has access to Valek and Commander Suite. What I'm saying suits, I don't know. Sweets, god damn it, sweets. Oh my goodness! And
I
there's
mean, to
one
be
person.
fair, a lot of people probably mispronounce that word. It's okay.
Ugh, one person has access, and it's oh boy, the old freaking Mark that we hate.
Right.
But of
Yeah.
course, Yelena, she's
Because
not good.
it's supposed to be only the commander, Valak, and Marg, and now herself that have access. And that's supposed to be it. So,
Yeah, but of
of
course,
course, Valak would.
Yeah, Yelena is like, I'm not gonna say shit to him because he's not gonna believe her. You know, even at some point, Valak asks her, why did she kill the Reynard? which is the Brazil's son. And she says to him that he wouldn't believe her and he's not even ready to hear that. You'll find out about that later, what he did, and you will understand why she killed him.
Mhm. Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
moving fast forward, she got for herself a backpack. She got like a grappling hook and some provisions, some gel that she got. Ooh, you know what? I just
It was
realized.
like a
No, 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 no.
what's that?
We just realized that Yelena had a test before she became official food tester. She had to test a lot of dishes and a lot of drinks to find out which one is laced with poison.
Oh, yeah, there was, like, a whole table full of food and drinks and everything, and only one of them was supposed to be, clean, and so she
Yes.
had to find that,
So
and
she said that everything is laced with poison, and Valak is like, "What? That's impossible. I wouldn't be rigging the test," because of course Yelena pitched a fit about it. He's like, "How could you?" And just post asterisks and all the other things, slurs that she possibly could think about of, because that's how Yelena is. She is pretty feisty.
yeah, sometimes her claws come out,
Why we are
but
mentioning that, that's important for later information, and I just remember that. So I'm sorry that was before she became official food tester.
no, it's all good. And then, of course, Valak tried the thing that was supposed to be free from poison, and he realized, yes, it was poison. So now his mind is probably turning like, all right, who would have done that?
Y- you
So,
know, you can already see the freaking red flags in Valak's eyes at this point.
mm, oh
So
yeah,
he's kind of like like a let's say daddy right now to Yelena, because he just follows her. He watches over some things because he's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Why somebody is going through so much trouble to kill her.
yeah, that is the question, isn't it? Um, Luckily, Valak is on the case because he saves her a few times,
Oh yeah,
actually.
yeah. But fast forward to the training. So she gets like an hour. I think it was an hour heads up before soldiers would go
Yes.
out with dogs and stuff like that. So what Yelena does, she goes towards the direction they think that she would go. She crosses the creek and then she scoops like mud and all that stuff, covers herself with it. She retraces back. So, they think that she went to the creek and, she just moved forward and stuff like that. So what she does, she takes out the grappling hook and she climbs on the trees, covers herself in it's like a glue, and she grabs some leaves and stuff like that, and just basically applies a camouflage. From that now on, she travels across the trees. She doesn't even use the ground, which is
Which is
freaking
so
smart.
smart. It is absolutely smart. And I don't know that I could have thought to do that. But the fact that she did was just absolutely amazing. And it works.
It works.
It
There's
works.
two soldiers that come up very close to her hiding location, but they never
Hmm.
found her, and
And
they
I
moved
love
forward.
the
They move forward. So what happens is that Yelena is just hiding and stuff like that, and out of nowhere, it passed already like half of the day or more, and out of nowhere, Valak shows up, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" Of course, scaring the shit out of her
I mean, of course
because
he's gonna show.
you know
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't it scare.
and it's just hilarious because
But
he's like, yeah, I had to, lose the tail that I had because people start following me, like, because of course they want to have a prize from the commander, but I can't get him be like, that easy. So, I gotta lose my tail. And Valak is like looking at her, he's like, no wonder they can't find you. That is goddamn smart. So Valak is just over there
hmm
going on a tangent how he never expected her to be that smart. we know the camouflage going through the trees, uh, creating a fake, um, basically, um,
like a
trail.
trail.
Yeah, like a trail for
Hmm.
the dogs and all that stuff to follow. So it's very very smart what happens.
Yeah, because I think the place that she went to like a creek or something, and then she followed her trail back and then climbed up the trees so that people would think that she had followed the water to throw off the dogs. And
Yeah,
so that's
that's what I
why
said
a lot
earlier.
of yeah, yeah. Sorry, my brain, you'll have to forgive me. I've been under the weather this week and yeah, but it just I love this plan. I
Oh
love this
my god,
book.
I just realized because we are getting to the point of Yelena meeting somebody. Uh Before the training, there was a fire festival happening.
Oh yeah, that did happen
Yeah. Yeah, there was a fire
before the
festival.
training drill.
So she Yelena goes on the fire festival with everybody else from the staff, like Rand and other people. Um
Yeah, at this point she is fast friends with Rand,
yes.
by the way, because I know
S-
earlier we had mentioned that she was kind of iffy with him.
Yeah,
At this
at that
point
point
she is
she's
fast
friend.
friends with him, so
Yes, so
mhm.
Yelena goes there and all that, and she bumps on a drunkard, and she's just like, oh, whatever, okay, yeah, and she just moves forward, and um, she lost at this point her group, so she's looking for Rand, who went to like fire dancers tent and stuff like that, and Yelena went to look at the acrobatic tent because that's what is very close to Yelena's heart, an acrobatic. She used to
Mhm.
train it, which was huge part of her growing up. And she gets ambushed by two or three people, I think, very beefed up men, and a woman with a hawk mask on her face.
Mhm.
That person shows up to be a magician, a Scythian magician, actually. And as they are putting the garrote on her, throat to kill her, to suffocate her, so she can't use because the,
Mhm.
the buzzing sound started coming out again from her throat. So they just put her garrote so to kind of cut her off on that, so she can't do that. And then
Mhm.
the Syrian magician says
Focus.
like, don't let her use the magic. So that already tells you that, hey, that buzzing sound, it's some kind of form of magic.
Yes.
So what happens is the drunk man comes up to that, Aria, and he's like, "Oh, well, can I get another, refill, and all that stuff." And oh boy, the fight pulls up, and guess what? That's Valak.
It
Valak was trailing her all
was
the time. Valak was taking
valid.
care of the girl and making sure nobody is after her.
Yes. I love Valak.
So of course, he saves her, and then we have the entire training with that, with being fugitive and stuff like that. So while fast forwarding, they are on the tree and they are talking and stuff like that. And while they are there, Valak and Yelena notices a caravan of um.
At first glance, they appear to be like traveling merchants, kinda.
So, sorry, I went
Um,
quiet because I'm thinking if the meeting was first, or then
sorta.
was a caravan. No, it was first the caravan, then the meeting of the person because he disappeared for a little bit. I think I may be wrong at this point.
Yeah.
I may be wrong at this point, but that's fine.
Yes.
Um, but Okay, well, there's a caravan, and of course, Valak already notices with Yelena something is wrong because
I
the
don't know. We
outfits
don't want to give everything away.
they notice that something's wrong with the caravan. Okay, because the outfits they don't match. Everybody in the military districts they have very well fitted clothes. These people they have a kind of like a
Yeah.
loosely hanged, so they instantly notice that something is wrong with it. So Valak
Yeah.
goes,
Some of them were really loose and some were really like tight and just very ill fitting. Yes. So,
yeah, so Valak figures out that something is wrong and he goes after it. And Yelena, of course, goes, forward with, her hiding and stuff like that. And what happens is that she meets again the same woman from the Fire Festival who was trying to kill her. This time, she was talking to her about magic, how Yelena is very close to Flame Out, which it's when the magician doesn't control their magic and they just basically have this outburst that can destroy the ward's blanket from where the magicians that are pulling power.
yes, which sounds terrifying, by the way, because uh, if that happens, then it like throws everything off. 'Cause it makes like a big hole, I think is what they said, right?
It was like yeah, it's a kind of it's like a hole, but it just creates an area where
Yeah. Maybe
they
not so much a
cannot use
hole as
magic.
like a dead zone.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that
Yes,
that's a,
that's what I was
that's
trying to get out. Sorry, like a dead zone. Yes.
yeah, the dead
I'm
zone is
sorry.
it's better sounding here in this case scenario because it doesn't allow
Yeah.
magicians to take the thread of power from the blanket that surrounds the world and use the magic. So
Yeah.
she talks to Yelena and stuff like that, and Yelena asks her for I think a year to figure out how to get an antidote for butterfly dust so she doesn't die while she's on the way to, Scythia. And Iris tells her, hey, well, if you get enough on the antidote, our healers could possibly try to either heal you or figure out the antidote and all that stuff, how to, take care of that poison. But you need to have, you know, kind of a big supply of that antidote, which is a problem because Vala keeps it locked somewhere, and the other dose that
Hmm.
the vial that has it has a commander somewhere else. So two places that you wouldn't be able to even get in. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Plus,
Exactly.
plus there are some other things that Yelena asks her Iris, that magician, to please just let me deal with this and that, and uh, because I need time before I can come with you. So then Valak appears and he brings a bag of very weird looking beans. And
And
he
yellow
tell
pods.
yeah, yellow pots, exactly. So
Yes.
he gives that to Yelena and tell her, like, do not talk about it with anybody besides Commander. You need to get to the castle right now. I'm gonna go follow this caravan to see where the hell they're going and from what is going on with it because that is not okay here. So Yelena retrieves whatever she's going through the forest, and she makes enough noise for two soldiers that they were before close to her location. Okay, let's just admit it. There's two soldiers to let her find and bring back to the castle. And I will let Dee to talk about how those two soldiers were treating Yelena and all that because I need to drink a little bit of water because my throat is just absolutely going down right now from talking.
Oh my God. So when she makes enough noise for them and everything, one of the soldiers tackles her and he's like, "Got you!" And he like sits on top of her. Okay, and his partner is like, "Isn't that a bit much, Janko?" We find out these two soldiers are Janko and Ari, or Ari. Ari, I think is what it is. Because it's Ari, Ari. Yeah. And I love these two characters so much. These are two of my favorite characters. I have four favorite characters. We've already met two of them in Valak and Yelena. J- John Janko and Ari are my other two favorite characters. I love them so much.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. By the
so
way, they have a nickname given already by the other generals. They call them a power twins. By the way.
yes, yes, they do. But it's really funny because Yelena tells them, I won't run, and Jacob is like, "Are you sure? All right, we should probably put her in handcuffs." And he's like, "No, she said she won't run. We're gonna trust her on this." And so they take her back to their captain, who then immediately puts her in handcuffs, and like the whole group takes her back. But um, when she goes to the commander, because when she was given those beans and the pods by Valak, he told her, find those two soldiers that came close to finding you, have them take you to the commander and report everything to the commander. So she finally ends up in front of Commander Ambrose and tells him everything and gives him the bag with the beans and the pods in it. There's five of those pods, by the way. And so Commander Ambrose was like, "So these two didn't actually find you." And she's like, "Well, they didn't actually find me, but those two are the ones that were closest because they were like right underneath me at one point." And turns out that did them a really good favor because they got a promotion after that. And the next time that she saw them, they were all like, "We should be thanking you." And they kind of become friends. And it's like, it becomes this like sibling kind of thing. Like, these two are like her older brothers. And it's just amazing. It's their interactions together are so good, and they're funny at times and sometimes serious. But like Janko and Ari are so amazing as characters, and I love them so much. Um,
Absolutely. It's worth
yeah,
to also mention that Commander gives Yelena a task and tells her like, "Hey, yo, figure out what's going on with those pods. I trust you." So Yelena finds basically abandoned library when she set up her, let's say, laboratory where she's working on those pods, trying to figure out what the hell is that, because she doesn't want to um disappoint Commander, which is kind of big deal
hmm
here that he's trusting her. Going
it
back
is a
to the
very big deal because he could have given that task to anybody.
to his advisors and like biologists and all that stuff, but yeah, he gave it to her.
Exactly.
Going
Yeah.
back to the power twins, Yelena just at some point watches them, like sparring with somebody and stuff like that, and she gets an idea. Hey, guys, could you teach me how to use a weapon or something? And of course, Yanko is a little bit like, I don't know, you were a criminal and stuff like that. But then Ari's like, hey, yo, you were a criminal too before you joined. Okay? So give her a second chance and just kind of like cut her some slack. So they decided, like, okay, Yelena, if you want us to teach you and stuff like that, you gotta be doing 5 laps around the castle every morning.
And it had to be approved by Valak.
And exactly, because everyone is scared of
Mhm.
Valak. So,
Yes.
yeah, she starts, doing those laps in the morning and stuff like that. And of course, there's a lot of weird looks at her and stuff like that. But that bound to happen. Let's be honest. But at the
Mhm.
same time, nobody can say no because there's a lot of even servants, just running with the soldiers. And nobody's never saying to them anything because it's free. You can do that. Nobody's gonna say anything to you.
Yeah, this is true. Because a lot of people would just go out and run a lap or two and then go back to their work and everything. Um, but what other people had an issue with was when they started teaching her some actual self defense moves. Then she started having a few problems. Um, don't remember the name of that one guard, but he started giving her some problems.
It was that not commander, that it wasn't even general. It was the leader of the group, uh, Nikhil. I know his name was starting N for
Oh,
sure, but it's the one who was giving the entire fuss about the training, that prison training with the escape, and he wasn't happy about the fact that Yelena, made basically the commander troops looking really bad.
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, Nyx is the one that started giving her problems.
yes, and anyway, just long story short, Valak approves, the entire training sessions, and but he says like, hey, there are some storage rooms, they're not being used. You can do that there. It's out of the entire look. Nobody's gonna see it. Plus, we're gonna spread some rumors that you quit training.
So
So,
smart.
so for example, General Brazil is not gonna later throw a fit again, because he is the type of whiny old dude, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's putting it politely. Um Also, it makes you wonder, would Valak have approved this kind of training for any of the other food tasters? I don't think he would have.
I
I don't think he would have.
I don't think he would have, but on the other hand, Valak is very mysterious, and I know there are books from Valak perspective on this time, and I want to get them and I want to read them. But right now, my assumption is that Yelena was just intriguing for him, especially because there was a lot of things going on around her, a lot of mystery that came up, and that probably just also added to the fact that Valak cannot be all the time sort of babysitting her.
Yeah, this is true.
So about the trainings, I'm gonna let Dee talk about it a little bit and what happens um overall with Power Twins. I freaking love them. And they always put a smile on my face when they're on the page, let's be honest.
Yeah, they do. I love them a lot. So they do start going and they do their training down in these rooms and everything. And eventually, they at one point they were actually watching some other soldiers spar with Valak. Okay, and because there's a challenge going on that anybody that can beat Valak um, will become like his right hand man or whatever. Okay,
Second in command.
so that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Um,
that's no, that's exactly what it says in the book. That if somebody beats Valak challenge, they can take any position they want or become second in command. Valak's second in command.
yes. So of course, all these people are trying to do it. Well, there's this one person that approaches and challenges with a bow. Okay.
Her name, I
And
believe, is Marine, something like that.
Marin, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
this.
Something like that. And so she really close, but still doesn't win. Um, but the twins, Yelena, are kind of talking, and the twins are like, "I wish she'd teach us the bow, but maybe she'll teach you because she'll only teach females." And Yelena's like, "Okay, what makes you think she'll teach me?" And they're like, "She'll teach you. You just gotta ask her." And so she does ask, and surprise, she agrees. And Yelena, meets her and then takes her down to the storerooms as well. And that's where the twins are waiting. And she's like, "Wait, so you guys never did stop, did you?" And she's like, "I see some rumors are not to be trusted." And Ari's like, "And we'd like for some rumors to remain that way."
Yes,
And
basically. So what happens here?
so,
It's the power twins are trying to cover for Yelena because Valak also was. He didn't want the rumors to be true. He wanted everyone to think that Yelena is still defenseless, and she quit just doing those trainings.
mhm,
Simply for various reasons. But one of them is that he didn't want to have like generals or something be complaining to the commander about it.
yeah. Well, and, you know, you don't want people to know that she can take care of herself. So, uh, so then the four of them start training though, and every now and then Valak comes down and will like train with them occasionally, giving pointers and stuff like that. But the whole thing is Yelena told Marin that if she could teach all of them the bow, they could help teach her how to beat Valak. Um,
Plus, she can add
and
some
Yelena
acrobatics.
said, "Yeah, I was getting to that." But yes, Yelena said, "I can teach you some acrobatic skills that will help." And so they all kind of like are teaching each other at this point, which I love so much
Yes, because
because
it's not just one way transaction, let's say like that. It everybody benefits from it, and it's great in my opinion. You don't see that often in books.
exactly. No, not really. Usually it's like, "Hi, I'm the main character. I know nothing." Or, "I'm the main character. I've never done any of this. 2 days later, I'm an expert with this sword." It,
Or in
I don't
some
get
case
it.
of some movies or other books, you pick up a goddamn sword and you are instantly a master of fighting, acrobatics, and everything. Just name it, and just because you just grab it the sword, it's fine. Yeah, it's not. It
Hmm.
takes time and it's a hard work. And what Maria
Yes.
Snyder did in this book, it's amazing because she actually puts up here like, hey, no, Yelena actually took years training of acrobatics, and then
Hmm.
she was training with Yanko, Ari, and Marine for months because it
Yes.
says over there it was months every single day.
Yep. I love that she added that. Like, don't give me specific dates and stuff like that because some people are going to sit there and like try to, calculate everything and all that. But if you just put in months and years, that's perfect. That means, hey, this stuff has been going on every day while we're not reading this stuff, or, between the lines of the the pages. And it, it's amazing because it makes it feel like these characters actually have a life outside of what we are reading.
Exactly, and
Okay.
it's wonderful, and at the same time, the timeline is pretty much clear comparing to what we had in Sanded Soul. And I'm just gonna recall that for a second because
Oh,
in
girl, I could have went all day without thinking of that book.
look,
Come on now.
listen, that moment when they were in the forest, Morpheus, Clara, and everybody else.
Ugh.
First, he was saying it was weeks, then it showed it was a few days. Maria V. Snyder doesn't do that shit in her book. She actually has a clean timeline going on. And also, ha, wonderful thing, she made sure that you see that the seasons are passing by. So when you start, it's like it's going towards the hot season, but then later, when you know they're training and stuff like that, it's about to start cold season.
Mhm.
So basically, it's almost a
Yeah, because
year passing by, half year,
something like that. Yeah.
some between half year to a year, basically passing by, which it can give you
Mhm.
some idea already, right? How you know how long it was just by the showing of the seasons, you know, the weather.
Yeah. Which, like you said, it's amazing for an author to put something like this in the book and do it correctly. It's just amazing to see because it so often does not happen correctly. Um, I I don't know. I've seen so many people, they just get so caught up in adding the days and the stuff. Okay, that's fine if you want to do that. Make sure you do the research because if I have to do the research, I'm not going to be happy about it. Okay. I don't do research. Well, I do research. You know what I mean. Um,
Yeah, I know what you mean. In my opinion, well, having a clean timeline, you don't have to have days, but you can just mention it was weeks, it was months, or it was a year, and you can show it by changing the weather. So, for example, I don't know, let's say we start in spring, then we go into the summer, then we are going to the autumn. You know, trees are losing
mhm,
their leaves and stuff like that. They're colorful, etc., etc. And then we're having winter, snow. Easy way to show basically a year passing by. You don't have to
yeah.
say it. It was a year, 1995. Then we went to the 1996. No, you just show it by you just show it by the weather and it's fine.
uh,
You don't have to say exactly when, goddammit, it was. Let's be honest. I'm sorry I had to.
the way you said that just cracked me up. I'm so sorry.
Oh, but that is the truth, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And another, excuse me, sorry. Another way that this author does really good with showing the progression of time is by showing the progression of friendships. Okay.
yes, and
So,
also
like,
how Yelena looks. Because when you start the book, she's
mhm,
basically a skeleton. And while she's training with Yanka and Ari, she already has some muscles. She looks better. She's still not that well fed, but she already pick up on some muscles. That's also it's being
yeah,
shown in how,
she's
yeah,
still working on it. You know.
but it shows the passage of time very well.
Hmm. Yeah. And like, so like her interactions with, Valak, her interactions with Commander Ambrose, her interactions with Janko and Ari, you know, each one of these interactions, they get closer, so to speak. Like, they go from being completely formal to, you know, talking to a friend. And that's the way it goes. It takes time to build a friendship. It takes time to learn things. It shows the progression of time, and that it just makes me so happy. Okay. If I could meet this author in person, I would give her a hug for this. It was amazing. So,
Yes. Also, of course, you're gonna have like here in this entire thing going on some gossips and stuff like that. So there's one time when Yelena, shows up for to the seamstress, and she's still living in Valak Suite, and she's like, "Oh my god, when I'm gonna have back to my room and stuff like that." And Dilna is like, "I think you'll be there for a long while," And Yelena's like, "Why? What do you mean?" And then Dilna's like, "I believe Valak is sweet on you. He never get interest in any food taster before. He just he leaves them alone. Just he would assign one of his spies just to take make sure that they're fine. And besides that, he wouldn't give a shit." And then Yelena is like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold your horses. You are deluded here." And then,
But she couldn't help but smile at the same time, though.
yes, and Dylan is like, "You know what? In fact, we were thinking that Valak is gay, basically." So,
Yeah, they thought that he was
yeah,
maybe seeing one of his sneaks or something.
yes. So then
So,
Yelena is like, "Ho, ho, ho. You should get out of your sewing room a little bit and touch the grass because you're clearly just, you need a dose of reality." So but that makes Yelena think like, hey, it's actually Valak sweet on me, and oh my god, it's entire thing going on because Yelena goes from like I freaking hate you to like, hey, is he maybe? I'm like, I'm not sure, but he's my boss, so that's kind of awkward here. You know what? No, I'm not gonna go that direction.
yeah, and there's little things sprinkled in here and there where it's just adorable for one, and two, it just shows the progression of something maybe happening here, unlike with Sanded Soul.
Oh god, yeah. You basically go from sort of enemies to friends here in this moment. Like, and I'm saying enemies because she was kind of pissed at Valak in many situations, but she respected him because he's kind of her boss at this point.
Hmm.
But I'm saying enemies because I don't think there's any better option here to name it, to be honest. Because they're not friends, absolutely not. They just know each other. She's being irritated by him. He is kind of frustrated with some stuff that she's doing, and just kind of it's like it's one of those things when you go to work, you have that coworker that you want to slap him in his face, and you stare at him and you
Hmm.
think about it like I'm just so fucking done with you, but you can't do anything because he's your coworker. That's exactly how it's a
Yeah.
relationship between Valak and Yelena in the beginning.
Yep. Oh yeah. Um, but you can see the progression over time to where, you know, it gets to the point where he comes and helps train with her. Uh, when she, kind of screams, more than just boss and worker.
Not exactly.
It's more
I
like
wouldn't. I wouldn't say it's exactly that.
friends.
I would say that
Yeah.
he definitely is interested in what she can do because he
Hmm.
admitted that during that training when she was pretending to be the prisoner who escaped. He was impressed by his skills and way of thinking. Like, hey,
Hmm.
she did the camouflage and all that stuff. So he was interested, and I think he even mentioned that she managed to surprise him a few times, and he actually liked that. He likes the challenge.
Yeah.
So that was actually nice, to be honest. And
Oh yeah.
let's move fast forward to city and delegation coming in to Ixia.
Oh, that's an interesting thing.
Um,
So it's this whole big thing that
besides
most
Valek,
people,
Valek complaining about having to wear uh, formal uniform
yes, he does not like to wear the formal uniforms. He usually only has to wear them once a year.
when the
And at
general's
this
a
point, he's
meeting
already
commander.
had to wear them once.
Once or
Yes.
twice, even at this point.
Yeah. And so then he's having to wear them again.
And he's complaining like a
And
baby. And I shit you not, he complains like a baby about it to Yelena, which it makes her laugh.
it does.
Because this
But
is
then
actually
she
first
also tells
time,
him,
yeah, this is the first time
mhm,
actually Valek is complaining about something, like openly. And that just cracks Yelena because, she never sees that side of him. He's always like, work, business. I am serious, and here he is acting like a baby.
yeah. But then she looks at him and she says, well, I think you look stunning. And he's like, you do? And then he just kind of like stands straighter and everything and
Oh
is
yeah,
like,
I think he kind of
okay.
blush also.
He might have. He might have. But
It was
yeah,
adorable.
it it was adorable. It really, really was. Um, but this big delegation though. So a lot of people didn't know that it was coming. And so after the big generals meeting, all the generals were leaving. All the servants just breathed a sigh of relief. And then the announcement is made, hey, get ready for this big delegation. And they're like,
You have
so
3 days
everybody's
for that. On
rushing
top of
around
that,
again.
it was like, yeah, you
Yeah,
have a 3 days for that. So F you
yep.
resting, get back to work.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for the poor servants at that
Oh
point,
yeah,
but
not for
you
Mark though.
know,
She can work.
no, Mark and Mark, it's fine. We don't like. But so this big delegation arrives and they're all wearing like animal masks and everything, right?
Which,
And
oh Lord,
the
behold,
leader,
Iris is there with her Hulk mask as well.
mm-hmm, because she's the leader. That's great. We didn't know she was the leader until just now. And Yelena is like, oh God, why is she here?
Yeah, and basically
And
Yelena
Violet is also
Yelena is
kind
at
of
this point like, you know what, guys, I'm done with this life. Just off me already.
pretty much it, it, I don't know. Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine like standing here beside the commander and the person that tried to kill me, but then tried to take me away to
It's
train
right in
me
front of you,
suddenly
right?
is right there. And it's like, dude, you said you'd give me a year and you're back.
Yeah.
Why?
So Yelena basically is like, you know what, guys? I'm done. I'm seriously done with all of you. Just give me a goddamn break. But, of course, she's there because she has to be tasting food for the commander, right? And what happens? She tastes poison and she yells, "My
Oh
love."
God. Yes, but here's the thing. So, Iris is the one that poured the wine from the decanter. She poured 3 glasses, one for herself,
I
one
think that
for
was
the commander.
brandy. I think that was brandy, not
Uh,
wine, but
it might have been. Whatever type of beverage it was,
it was an
she
alcohol,
poured
okay,
3
guys? It was an
glasses.
alcohol.
Yes. And one for Valak. And so, of course, Elena has to try the commanders, yells out, my love, and suddenly all hell breaks loose. She gets like scooped off the stage, and Valak like
No, 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 no.
stumbles,
She
knocking the
actually
glasses.
No, no, she actually just slams on the ground. Nobody, of course, noticed that because there's a music playing and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Valek pretends to be like, oh, I drink too much. Pardon me for knocking out the glasses. Let me pour a fresh glasses. But what he does, he's using sleight of hand. He switches bottle with something else.
Hmm. Yeah. But she is whisked off the stage because Ari was standing close by. Junko and Ari were waiting. They were basically like the bodyguards, so to speak. and Ari's the one that took care of her, and is so sweet
And yes,
because
and Janko as well. They were taking turns because they had to take care of some other things. But they were taking the turns basically
yes,
to take care of her. So they brought her to her room in Valek's suite.
hmm
And if you remember what we said about at the beginning of this, review, Margot left her in a puddle of vomit and everything. These boys
hmm
switched her clothes and they took care of her. So when she
yep,
actually woke up, she was just covered in sweat, but she wasn't dirty. She was actually in bed, and there was water next to her standing, and Yanka was sitting next to her. They wouldn't even leave the room. One of them always was there, just in case.
yes, it was just so sweet. I love those two so much. I do. I really,
Yes.
really do.
And there was a moment when Ari said that he would kill Reynard by himself too. And now we're gonna talk about it. Why Yelena kill Reynard, which is General Brazil's son. Um, because when she turned 16, she was being put under the tests and some other things that General Brazil and his son Reynard were doing for a lot of our friends, including
Like
Yelena. Yes,
experimentations
they were doing
and
experiments. They were pretty
uh
brutal. We're not gonna go into details, but they were pretty brutal.
mhm.
And when Yelena started failing stuff, and she was basically untamable, she didn't allow them to break her spirit. Uh, Brazil gave up on her, and he told his son, "Yeah, you can just take her for yourself. I don't care." So Reynard, being sadistic as he is, he figured out the ways how to punish Yelena. And unfortunately, one of them that you find out later down the road that was written in his
Might be a good idea to add a trigger warning right now.
like a journal and stuff like
Um,
that. It's let's just lightly say that Reynard was using woman in the worst possible way that woman can be used.
yes,
Saying that lightly,
yes,
we're just gonna leave it like this. I will let your imagination think about that because some things that are described there a little bit, some of them are mentioned. Which hats off to this author because a lot of authors will go into details, heavy details. You don't need it. Sometimes you don't need
hmm
it. It's enough that you actually mention something or vaguely describe it. Vaguely, very vaguely. Like, let's say one sentence mentions something, name the thing happening, then switch the memory and maybe add one sentence of vaguely describing something. It's enough for your mind to create a picture of how brutal it was.
exactly.
And
The
we're just gonna leave it here like
author
that.
does, yeah, the author does very well with not going overly into into way too many details because we do not need all the details with certain things. Thank you very much. Um, so yes, that is the reason why she killed. That is the reason why she ended up in the dungeon where we met her in the first place. At this point, I will say I want to give Elena a hug. She needs a hug. She needs all the
Absolutely.
hugs.
This poor girl just going through so much and her entire childhood basically was taken away from her if you think about it. Um
Hmm.
but moving forward, we're not gonna be going into the details of everything that happened in the book because there's a lot of things that we actually already skipped a little bit. But we're gonna leave that for you to guys to read it because it's the book is worth. Okay, it's worth to read it.
It
And
so very much is.
anyway, things happens and Commander Ambrose is traveling to General Brazil district because he wants to see the factory that he gave permit on. And it's already built and it's already going on and stuff like that. So of course Yelena has to follow him there, which she's freaking scared of that because General Brazil, right?
Hmm.
So what happened, D?
So they get there, and the commander starts acting funny because there's this other guy that Yelena knew. Pardon me just a second, because I was looking up
Mokan.
the. Yes,
His
that's
name is
it.
Mokan,
So
or the other name Kangam, something like that. He has technically two names that they're going through the entire book about him. One is Mokkam, and the other
yes,
one is Kangam.
yes. Um, so this guy is there helping Brazel with a lot of things, but the commander starts acting funny around them and like getting really vacant stares and just agreeing to whatever they say. And so they take Yelena and put her back in, not like a cell, but like a holding room kind of thing. She was very glad it wasn't one of the dungeons, or not dungeon, basement cells, I think is what she had said, something like that. And and they would only bring her out, to taste the commander's food and stuff like that. Uh, but then, like the
Because
other
what
generals that
happens?
were
It's
there,
they needed her to for this, let's say, staged app performance to make sure that the other generals they didn't think that something is wrong.
exactly. But then the other generals also kind of start acting a little bit funny. Um, Now, one thing that we did leave out for a little while is Brazel had introduced this type of candy called Criollo, and only his cook knew the recipe, right? And so the commander, who loves like sweet, elegant things and everything, loves this stuff. And so Brazel was constantly sending him boxes and boxes of Criollo, which Yelena liked it too. She said it was like so good. It was absolutely good. And
But
Valak's just like, I don't see what
yeah,
is so good
he
about it.
didn't see what is the issue here, which it was hilarious that moment when they tried it, and then Commander and Yelena they're like, "Oh my god, this is so good," and Valak is like, "Yeah, well, whatever," and both of them, Commander and Yelena, were like, "Wait, what? Do we have the same taste buds?" Because I don't know what you're eating, but this is divine, and Valak is like, well, it's mid for me. Which I think it was hilarious, actually, seeing the same reaction from Yelena and Commander about
Who
something that Valak
doesn't
didn't like.
really like coffee? I'm sorry?
What?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're going on.
I
Regardless,
don't I
so
I
would
was
you?
talking about coffee.
eh, it's not coffee.
I know. I was saying to put it in comparison for the Criollo and for the Commander versus Commander and Yelena's um, uh, their attitude towards it versus Valak's. It's like taking a really good cup of coffee and like giving it to two people, one who absolutely loves coffee and the other one who doesn't really care,
And the other one who
and you get
prefers
the
tea.
one, yeah. And so the ones that, are okay with coffee, they're like, oh my God, this is so good. And the other one was just like, I don't see the appeal.
Yeah, basically.
So,
So
yeah.
later down the road,
Hmm.
when you find out about this, well, these says Criollo. For me, I was reading that as a Cirolo, but okay, that's how I was reading it.
Hey,
Uh,
in my defense, my tail end was born in America. Okay.
yeah, mine
I
in
say
Europe.
things differently.
So for me, it was Cirola, but okay, let's go. It doesn't matter how you read it. Let's go with it. So you find out that later that it's made out of beans. They come from Scythia, and they're called Theobama. And
Hmm.
it's supposed to open your mind, while you're studying magic. So it's easier for you to do some stuff and learn about some things. So General
Hmm.
Brazel and Malcolm, they were using it to basically brainwash Commander and other generals,
Yes. Because that factory that he had been trying to get approval for
which
was where he was making the Criollo.
everyone were thinking this is animal feed, by the way.
Mhm. Yeah. Everybody thought it was an animal feed factory, but it was not. And so the with the help of the Criollo, they basically took over the commander's mind. And once the other generals were sent home, they threw Yelena in the dungeon. And they're like, we thought about killing you, but we heard about how, without your antidote, it'll hurt so bad. We're
Oh,
not
no, no, no,
giving
no,
you
no,
the
no.
antidotes.
No, 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 no. You forget about it that she was thrown to the dungeon after they found her with Valak. And they tried to, Valak would be able to just get away, but they captured her. So Valak surrendered.
Hmm.
That's
Yes.
why they ended up in the dungeon.
Yeah. And so he was locked in there with her. And
Listening
we
to
actually
her
get to one of the.
painful screams and everything, it was so sad for me. And I was like, why? Poor Yelena, poor Valak,
It
because
was.
he had to listen to her screams and he was so worried about her that it's not even funny. But the best part is you find out that actually it's not a poison. It wasn't even antidote.
No,
It was
it's
just
just.
it was like a medicine concoction or something, whatever you call it. That uh
Hmm.
kinda acts like a drug. So when you stop using it, it will give you those withdrawal symptoms, which is
Yeah.
absolute cramps, like painful cramps, vomiting, and some other things. So Yelena was thinking she's dying, but Valek told her, "Yeah, you're not dying. You're just going through the withdrawal simple symptoms."
Yeah. And it was. I don't know. It was just very sweet because Valak was like, before she thought like so she starts getting the stomach cramps and everything. And so he does tell her then. And she's like, why tell me now? And he's like, because the mind controls the body. If you believe that you were going to die, then you might have died from that conviction alone.
Yeah. Plus, he said that you
And
never reveal your ace that you have up your sleeve until you absolutely have to.
yes, exactly. Yeah. And then he kind of explains, about the stuff, but the stuff is called white frights. And so, yeah. And then poor Elena. Oh my God.
Oh, no, no, no. They have also a
It's
conversation in
awful.
they have also conversation in the dungeon. Valak actually asks her again, so what happened? Why did you kill Reynard? So then she tells him everything. She's crying over there. She's absolutely fucking breaking down crying. And after she finishes the story, Valak is like, they're gonna pay for it. I'm gonna kill everybody who is responsible for that. Because Valak just,
Yeah.
realized how awful it was for her. Fast forward, they escape from the prison and they have a very sweet moment. And I'm gonna just read that moment actually because I freaking love it. They also share a kiss there, and it's just like, ugh, oh my god, it's so good. It's you're basically being rewarded for reading this book here. That's like a treat here, okay? But you have a fragment,
Right.
and I'm gonna read it right now. Yelena, you have driven me crazy. You have caused me considerable trouble, and I have contemplated ending your life twice since I have known you. Valak warm's breath in my ears sent a shiver down my spine. But you have slipped under my skin, invaded my blood, and seized my heart. That sounds more like a poison than a person, was all I could say. His confession had both shocked and thrilled me. Exactly, Valak replied. You have poisoned me. I'm like, oh my god, yes. Of course, I am
Yes,
fangirling here.
it was amazing. And I was like,
I was just fangirling
it
at this
was so
moment. It's like,
good.
I love that. Anyway, fast forward, they escape, they defeat, what it's happening with the help of Yanko and Ari and Iris, because Iris shows up there as well. And she helps with
Hmm.
everything. Fast forward, of course, because we've been yapping about it for so long. Um, and also we don't wanna say everything, like absolutely everything. We're just gonna leave out some fragments so you can also read it by yourself, right? Um, and have some element of surprise as well.
Yeah.
During the let's say final battle, Yelena and Valek, both of them together, they kill Mokhan, and Commander didn't wake up. He is still in a weird state. So Iris tries to use her mind magic and stuff like that to heal Commander, but it doesn't work. So Yelena asks Iris, "Hey, can you help me? I have a feeling, I know what to do." So she finds Commander in his mind, and she brings him back. Of course, because of that, Commander says like, "Hey, well, you have magic. Magic is banned in Ixia, so I will have to give the order for your execution." And then Valak says like, "Well, if you
Hmm.
tell me to execute her, I'll do it, but this is gonna be the last work I'm gonna do for you." Because, it kind of tells you that Valak is gonna himself after it because he loves
Hmm.
Yelena, and he's not able to live after that, right? He doesn't want at this point.
And then like Janko and Ari are there too, and they're like, "Whoa, no, no, no!"
Yeah,
And they're like
everybody's
holding each other back. I think.
Yeah, but basically everybody's beefing with Commander, and Commander sees how powerful their friendship is and love between everybody here, that he's like, okay, it may take me time to write this order, so that I'll give you time to go with Iris to Scythia, and you'll be safe there. So he kind of gives her a favor here, for saving his life and stuff like that, which
Hmm.
which is wonderful. And on the way to city and stuff like that, before crossing the border, she meets Valek. They spend some time together, and that's basically where it ends. The book.
Hmm. And oh my god.
It was so good, guys. I read that book within like 2 days, and as soon as I finished this book, I went to read a second one because I was like, "Give me more. I am, give me, give me." So that says something, okay?
Like,
Me and Dee, we already decided that
okay, I'm
we,
not sure.
me and Dee, we already decided that we gonna actually read the entire series at some point and gonna do reviews. Basically all of the books in the series.
Yes, yes, we are. I just gotta buy the other ones.
Yeah, because there's this entire thing going on with the books that um it's like 12 or 15 books in the series, and we're gonna go through all of them. We just gotta get all of that. Because we have only six that they're kind
Yes.
of kind of um in the main title, let's say like that. But then you have the other ones that they're kind of filling up the gaps here and
Hmm.
there, and it's just, yeah, we want to read everything. Anyway, D, what
Yes.
made you want to read this book?
Um. Well, it was actually recommended to me a long time ago. I will admit, this is my second read through of this book. Um. So the first time it was recommended to me, and was I was told it was a very, very good book, and it absolutely was. And going back through a second time, it was still just as good. I still had all the happy moments, the excitement was still there for me for everything. And so, yeah, what about you?
Oh, I used to play this like interactive stories and stuff like that, and that's when I kind of stumble upon something similar, and that's how I found the Poison Star. It's a long story short, but I just found it by accident. And I was interested, like
Gotcha.
by everything. So I just went to read it and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I will admit it, this is my second time reading this book. First time I read it, it was like 7 years ago, I think. 7 or 8 years ago. And so I didn't remember everything, let's be honest. I still had a blast going through it, rereading it. I enjoyed. I was giggling like a schoolgirl there, and it was so freaking good. So yeah, I
Yes.
I didn't have much of expectations going into it. I don't know how about you, Deep, but I was just expecting something about poisons when I was reading it, and just something basically, fantasy style, a little bit of magic probably here too.
That was pretty much my expectations too, honestly. The cover of it was really pretty,
Oh yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
Hmm.
So did the beginning
And
hook you?
I think it's safe to say, I think it's safe to say that it absolutely did.
Yeah, me too.
Because
I was hooked in since
I almost could
from
not
the
put
first
it
chapter.
down. Hmm. I think the book only took me 3 days to read. It would have taken me less if I didn't have family and fur babies to take care of. So
Yeah, for me,
you
yeah,
could
I read
actually
that in
sit
two
down and read
days.
this in one evening if you really
Absolutely.
wanted to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with that. Even
Yeah.
one full day with like some breaks that you do for something, you can peacefully read this book. It's so good.
Hmm.
Actually, it just goes
Yes.
smoothly. You don't have issues with the pacing, and that is wonderful comparing to what we had in Sanded Soul. Because I was about to crash out and cry there.
Right. Yeah. This one was just so, so good. So good.
All right. So, what do you think about the main character? Do you like them? Not? I know you love them.
I love Yelena. I love Valak. All the characters. I My four characters are my babies and I love them. So
All right.
yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely
It's
love them.
same for me. I absolutely love the main character. There's sometimes she has the moments I'm kind of, but we're talking about this book because in the series, later as it goes, Yelena is doing some things that I'm kind of iffy about it, but we're talking about the Poison Standy currently. So from 1 to 5 scale, from me, Yelena is gonna get 5 as a main character.
Absolutely a five from me as well. Absolutely. She does she deserves a five. Yes.
All right,
Who
so
was your favorite character?
oh boy, like, mm, Valak. I'll say Valak. I love his snarky comments, him being sassy but also mysterious. And he just win my entire heart with some situations that were happening towards the end of the book. Like it was, I would
Hmm.
say, from like 75% of the book towards the end, he just win my heart completely. What about you?
Yes. Agreed. Valak. Absolutely love Valak. Uh it the other three of my favorite characters are like all stuck in second place.
Oh
Valak
yeah,
has my heart.
yeah, but those are side characters, like literally side characters. We're talking about Ari and Janko, of course. In my side, in my case here, and I love them. So
Yes, me too.
on the scale from
Yep.
1 to 5, the side characters they're gonna get from me 5. There is entire cast of really
Also a
good
five.
characters. Yeah, entire cast of good characters. Some of them you love, some of them you hate, and all that stuff. And it's wonderful. You can pick so many characters. and you can have opinion on each of them, to be honest. Wonderful. So, talking about the characters,
Yeah.
which character has the most development in your opinion?
Uh, Honestly, I'm gonna go with Yelena purely because I feel like she learned the most in this book. Um, she learned how to take care of herself. She learned about all the poisons. She learned about, you know, learning how to trust. She probably developed the most as a character, in my opinion. Um,
Absolutely, I agree on that part.
so, how would you rate her 1 to 5?
I would say five. Like seriously, that character development was wonderful. You go from skittish Yelena being sarcastic at the same time to Yelena who is very compassionate. She thinks about others, and instead of running away from problems, she starts facing them. Huge development, in my opinion. Huge. So,
Exactly.
so on the scale from one
Exactly.
to five, she's gonna get from me five.
Yes.
What about you?
A 5. Definitely a 5. I agree. She definitely gets a 5 from me.
All right. What about the
Um,
plot of the book, by the way? Did you predicted it? No, maybe somewhat.
eh, Not really, honestly. Um, but then again, I was having so much fun reading it, I wasn't trying to, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. For me, it's also like
and also
somewhat.
the pacing was, hmm,
Yeah, for me, it's a
I mean,
somewhat
if
because
I was like,
some of the things I did predict it to be honest, but that could be just me. The way how my brain works and stuff like that. So for me, I somewhat predicted some stuff, but I still had fun.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
So for me, it's gonna get 3 points for being predictable or not predictable, because for me it was somewhat predictable. I don't
I
know how about
gotcha.
you. From the scale, on the scale from 1 to 4,
Uh,
from
uh,
1 to 5, sorry, 1 to 5, what would you give?
Maybe I'll go ahead and do 3 as well. Because there were some parts that I was like immediately like, yeah, I could see that happening. Or, ooh, I bet this is going to happen. Um, but there were some things that I was definitely like, whoa, was not expecting that.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right,
There
cool.
were some plot twists, really nice ones. So, what's your favorite scene, by the way?
Hmm. My favorite scene.
I have a
Hmm.
few. I can't decide on a lot of them. One of my favorite ones, it's for example that conversation when Valek comes in with Yelena about you know there was something happening, how many dead bodies, and it was one of those. The other one is with between Yelena and Ilyana in the sewing room talking about Valek and that servants were thinking about Valek was gay. Um, until Yelena showed up, basically. And there's third
Hmm.
one that I'm not gonna mention what it was, but it was with the Brandy meeting, after Brandy meeting, and how Valek was to Yelena, because it was freaking sweet what happened there, but I'm not gonna be mentioning what happened, so people have a little bit of
Right.
surprise. And then another one, fourth one,
Yeah.
it's the fragment that I actually read it about how Valek confessed to Yelena that she poisoned him. So I can't pick
Yes.
specifically which one
That
is my
one.
favorite one, but this is the four that I can just tell you right away. I freaking love them.
I love those two. I also love when Elena is getting ready to leave and she's saying goodbye to Janko and Ari,
Oh yeah,
and they're
yeah, that
like,
one is
"No, we should be
also
coming with you."
yeah, that was sweet.
I don't want to go into too much detail, but that part was very sweet. It was sad, but also not, and it was just so good. Um, I I loved it. It was good. It was very good.
It was really
Um,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip one question that normally
Mm.
we do about if you agree with some decisions that characters do or not. I'm just gonna skip it for today because it was a lot of things that uh, you would agree in this book, and some of them you wouldn't agree because of the villains and antagonists here in this book. So it's
Mhm.
also it was a very fast pacing. So fast pacing, but a good
Yeah.
pacing at the same
I
time.
will say though, yeah, I will say though, there's one that we skipped over that we needed for our rating. Which character had the? Ooh, no, wait.
No, no, we
We
we did
we
the
we went didn't even do the least. We didn't do
we
the
d-
least, but that's
we
okay. I
no
just
we
realized that was all in the same thing. Don't mind me.
Yeah,
Just look
no, no,
over
no,
me.
no. Look, it's
Just look over
because
me.
we did. Okay, so our question is here where we kind of had the most development or least, and she just confused herself.
I did. My apologies. Like I said, I've been a bit under the weather lately, so just look over me, please. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Moving on.
We did that. Don't worry. Yeah. So what do you
Okay,
think?
how about the world building?
I can't. What do you said because you're giggling there? Oh my god. Okay, I lost her.
Sorry.
She's giggling there. I
Okay,
lost her. All right.
I'm back. I'm back.
Are you sure
I'm
you're back?
here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you talk now. Nope, I might be in space.
All right, guys. I think she's insane a little bit because she's giggling there.
Anybody that actually knows me knows that I am. Thank you very much. Okay.
Well, like minds has to stick together, right? Anyway, what about the world building, girl? What do you think about the descriptions and stuff like that? Because there were some descriptions really good. Some of them, in my opinion, were lacking a little bit. So I would give only 3 points from my point of view. Some, like I'm saying, some of the descriptions were good. They give you this, like, you can see basically a movie playing out in your head, but then sometimes the descriptions were lacking in my opinion because the action was going or something, and I just wish there was a little bit more of description in a fight, for example, or something. So from my point, it's gonna get the world building 3 points. What
I
about you,
gotcha.
D?
For me, the actual world itself, it was amazing. Um, just like the way that she described it. But then, like, for me, the fact that there were some things that she didn't describe as much made me feel more like I was in the world itself because the commander didn't want excess details, didn't want all the, you know, excess things in the thing. And that's, for me, that didn't bother me so much that there wasn't as much details in some places because it made me still feel like I was in the world itself. Um, but I'll probably go in between a 5 and a 3, and I'll say a 4.
All right,
So,
wow, we finally are dividing a little bit here. So
just a
that's just a
bit.
little bit, what do you think about pacing? Because for me, pacing was good. Just sometimes, like I'm saying, it was a little bit too fast in some situations. Like I wish there was more description. So for me, pacing, it wasn't completely off. It was good, but it wasn't wonderful. So it's gonna get from me like probably 4. This Poison Study as a first book, probably it's gonna get from me 4.
For me, when I think of pacing, it's how much do I want to keep reading this book instead of just being able to sit it down? Like, am I immediately wanting to pick it back up? And for me, every time I put it down, I was like, counting down the time till I could actually pick it back up again. And so for me, pacing was great. It kept me in the story, it kept me where it needed me to be. So for me, it's going to be a five,
Oh, wow.
because,
Okay.
well, like I said, it kept me wanting to read it. If the pacing is slow for me or off, then I can put it down and just come back to it later, and that's fine. It's like, whatever. Like with Sanded Soul, I was like, I could put it down and never read this book again, and I'll live.
Oh, yeah,
But with
absolutely. I
this
agree.
one, I put it down, and I'm like, wait, but what happens? What does she do next? Does does he come back? Does just wait? Does that guy die? What? Who did that? So that's for me good pacing. So yeah, five for me.
All right. So looking at this, um, it's a very interesting that we have here. Okay, so the idea of the book, in my opinion, was great. Execution of this book, it was also wonderful, and basing on the judging the idea of the book, if it was predictable or not predictable, I would, and of course beautifully written or not, I would say the book is gonna get from me four overall, four points also for it. What about you?
I loved the idea. I loved the execution of it. I, of course, am a little more lenient, I think, than you are, and I'm going to go with a five. I absolutely adored this book. I adored it. I have read it twice now. I will
I'm
read
a
it
little
again
bit
one day.
more okay. I'm a little bit more harsh on the reviews than you are, but that's how I am.
It depends, honestly. If it's a bad book, then I can be extremely harsh. But if I enjoyed the book and it made me forget that I was on this planet for a while, I'm just like, yes. So, yeah,
All
I
right,
may
so
not be as harsh, but it's okay.
all right, so basing on our point system, 1 to 10, it's 1 star review, 11 to 20, 2 star, 21 to 25 is 3 star, 26 to 30, it's 4 star review, and from 31 to 40, it's a 5 star review. At this current moment, we are not adding any bonus points for anything, or not taking them from the book because we didn't DNF that, which for us, DNFing the book, it's automatically -5 points for, overall. So I just kind of up my points here that I write down. And from my perspective, this book is going to get 29 points, which is 4 star review. D has 32 points, which is 5 star review. So, from the bookish operation of obtaining knowledge and spoilers, this book is getting a 4.5 stars.
Which is a wonderful review, in my opinion. I cannot wait to read more by this author. I'm so happy this author exists in my lifetime so that I could read her books.
Absolutely. And I know these books are not as famous as the other ones you can find outside, like Harry Potter, for example. But I'll say these books are very much so worth of the read. They are very interesting, and I absolutely enjoy it. And especially if you compare it to The Sanded Soul, oh my god, that was heaven and hell here because I was in heaven reading
Ugh.
Poison Study.
And hell reading Sanded Soul.
Oh yes,
Ugh.
absolutely. So with that being said, like I
Maybe our
said,
next maybe our next book will be Purgatory.
uh, Maybe, I don't know. But like we said,
I hope not.
we're gonna do the review of the entire series whenever we get to that point, whenever we get to, all the books and stuff like that. But we will definitely do the entire review of the series because we already talked about it and we are absolutely invested in the characters. Uh, because it's something else, and I am in love with the series. Let's be honest. I am a little bit harsher on the reviews, but that's just how I am. D, on the other hand, yeah, she has a different look on the some things.
That's all right. It takes two. It's fine.
And this is exactly why we developed a point system, so it's fair and square towards all the books. We ask questions each
Yes.
other. We put the points on the scale from 1 to 5 for each question. So then it's basically like, okay, we gather the points, this is what we're gonna get. So it's not like we are just throwing on left and right, this is a 1 star, this is a five star. No, we have a point system that actually keeps us in check here.
Yes, because my own personal star system would not work for us.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
with that being said, I hope all of you enjoyed this review, and we highly recommend reading A Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder.
absolutely recommend it. Enjoy if you do. So,
Okay, guys.
thanks for
So
listening with us, guys.
So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And bookish operation of obtaining knowledge and spoilers is clocking out. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.